welcome to another deep dive. This one's going to be really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're diving into Walter Russell's The Universal One. It came out in 1926.
Okay, 1926.
Yeah, it's a book about cosmogony, like how the universe came to be and all that,
Right.
So get ready for some like really out there ideas.
Okay.
Light, matter, life, death. It's all connected in this book.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, even the chapter titles are wild.
Yeah.
You have things like the life principle, energy transmission, dimensionless universe.
Dimensionless universe. Wow.
Yeah, and color the 15th dimension.
So Russell is really trying to cover a lot of ground here.
Yeah, he's basically trying to explain like the foundation of everything, not just describing like the physical laws that we see around us,
Right.
but like how did it all start? What's the underlying principle?
So a unified theory of everything.
Yeah, exactly. And his big idea is that it's all mind. Yeah, like everything we see, like light and matter and energy, it's all just different expressions of, this one thinking mind.
Okay, so the universe is mental.
Exactly. It's not material.
Interesting. So it's like, is it all just some philosophical idea?
No, that's what's cool about Russell. He gets into like the mechanics of it, like how does this mental universe actually work?
Okay, so how does it work?
Well, one of the things he talks about is that dimensions, like space and time, are illusions.
Wait, what? Illusions?
Yeah, he's saying they're not real.
How is that even possible?
Well, think about like a spinning top.
A spinning top?
Yeah, when it's spinning really fast, it looks like a solid shape.
Right.
But it's not. It's just motion creating that illusion.
Okay, I see.
So Russell's saying our reality is kind of like that. It's the motion of this mind substance that makes it seem like there's space and time.
Okay, that's pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's a pretty radical concept. It challenges our whole understanding of the world.
Actually,
So if everything is this mental substance in motion, does that mean there's no such thing as death?
well, that brings us to what Russell calls the life principle.
Okay, the life.
He says there is no death, only eternal life.
Interesting.
And life isn't something that just exists in, like, living things. It's a property of all matter.
All matter.
Yeah, and he describes it as, like, a constant back and forth between two forces, electric and magnetic.
Electric and magnetic, so like a cosmic heartbeat.
Exactly, a constant expansion and contraction. And what drives this heartbeat? The thinking of the universal mind.
So the universe is constantly being created and shaped by thought.
That's the idea. It's dynamic, not static.
Wow.
He compares it to a ship's propeller churning the ocean.
Okay, so it's this mental activity creating all the motion and form that we see in the universe.
Right. It's a pretty powerful image.
So we're not just living in a mental universe, we're living in a universe that's constantly being thought into existence.
Exactly.
Okay, now my head is really spinning.
Just wait, it gets even more wild.
Uh-oh. So, speaking of dynamism, Russell dives into this whole concept of energy duality.
Yeah.
Generation and radiation. What are those?
He sees those as the two fundamental forces driving the universe, the opposing force.
It's forces, yeah.
Generation, that's like the attractive force building up, like electrical attraction.
Okay.
And radiation, that's like the repulsive force breaking down, like
Okay.
magnetic repulsion.
So it's like growth and decay in nature.
Exactly.
Okay, so even something as simple as a tree growing or decaying is connected to this cosmic dance of generation and radiation.
That's what Russell is saying.
It's like there's this hidden pattern underlying everything, this constant back and forth.
It's all connected.
Okay, so then there's this whole idea that light is the fundamental substance of everything.
Right.
He's saying everything, from rocks to stars, it's all made of light.
He's saying what we perceive as solidity, it's just light in a really concentrated state.
A concentrated state.
Yeah, like its motion is slowed way down. And luminosity, the light we see, that's just light in intense motion.
So like a rock is like a supercharged battery of light, but it's so tightly bound up, it seems solid to us.
Exactly.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it.
Good, because now we're going to talk about the elements.
Oh boy, the elements. Okay, so if everything is light, how does he explain all the different elements?
Well, he has this concept of elements of matter, and he says that the elements, they're not fundamentally different substances. They're different states of motion within this universal substance of light.
Okay, so instead of like building blocks, they're more like
Think of them like musical notes.
musical notes.
Yeah, each with its own frequency and pressure in this universal ocean of light.
So each element is like a different tone.
Right.
This is fascinating. So if the elements are like tones, can we change one element into another by manipulating these tones?
It's an idea Russell definitely explores.
Transmutation. That's wild.
It really challenges how we think about the material world. Like his concept of light, it shows how interconnected and fluid everything is.
Okay, I'm definitely starting to see the world differently now. But what about gravity? How does Russell reinterpret that?
Well, he challenges the idea that gravity is a force of attraction between masses.
Okay.
He says it's about potential seeking its natural pressure zone. Like, think of a helium balloon.
A balloon.
Yeah, it rises not because it's repelling the Earth, but because it wants to be in a lower pressure zone.
So things aren't pulling on each other.
Yeah.
They're seeking their natural place.
Exactly. Like, everything is trying to find its perfect spot in this grand universal symphony.
A symphony. And speaking of symphony, that brings us to color.
Oh, yes, color.
He doesn't see it just as aesthetic, but as a dimension of potential.
Right. The color of a star or planet reflects its energy state.
Okay.
So red stars, they're young, they're hot, they're radiating a lot of energy.
Right.
Blue stars, they're older, they're cooler, they've radiated a lot of their energy away.
So color is like a visual indicator of a star's age and energy level.
That's the idea. Each color is a stage in the cosmic cycle.
Wow. It's like we're watching a cosmic timeline unfold before our eyes.
Yeah.
This makes me think about our own sun.
Oh.
If blue stars are older, and our sun will eventually turn blue.
What happens to our solar system?
Exactly.
That's a question that gets to the heart of Russell's cosmogony.
This universal one is really something else.
Yeah, it challenges how we think about, everything.
Seriously, from dimensions to energy to color, it's like a whole new way of looking at the universe.
It is.
But I think one of the most profound ideas is this universal mind, this driving force behind it all.
It's really at the core of Russell's work.
Yeah. So is he saying there's like this giant brain out there controlling everything?
No, not a localized intelligence, no. Think of it more like the universe itself. It's a manifestation of this thinking substance.
Okay.
And the laws of physics, they're like thoughts within this universal mind.
So the universe isn't just governed by laws. Those laws are themselves expressions of thought.
Right.
That's a pretty big shift in how we normally think about things. It makes you wonder, do our thoughts, like our human thoughts, do they have any influence?
That's a question people have been asking for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, Russell doesn't really talk about, manifestation or anything like that, but his work does suggest this deep connection between our minds and, the cosmos.
Okay. So if our minds are connected to this universal mind, what about consciousness? Does Russell talk about that?
Oh, definitely. He challenges this idea that mind and matter are separate, the subjective and objective.
Right.
He's saying they're two sides of the same coin.
So we're all part of this vast cosmic mind, and our individual thoughts, they're like ripples in this ocean of consciousness.
That's one way to think about it.
If we're all interconnected through this universal mind, what does that mean for us? What's our responsibility?
That's a really important question. It gets to the heart of what Russell is trying to say. He seems to be suggesting that understanding this universal mind, it's not just intellectual, it's a path to harmony.
Harmony, okay.
Harmony in our lives and in the world.
So it's about seeing ourselves not as separate, but as part of this interconnected web.
Exactly. It's not just about being in the universe, it's about participating in this grand cosmic dance.
A cosmic dance, I like that. But how do we participate? How do we align ourselves with this universal mind?
Well, remember the life principle we talked about, that rhythmic oscillation between electric and magnetic forces.
Right, the cosmic heartbeat, the interplay of opposites.
Exactly. And Russell suggests this isn't just a characteristic of the universe, it's a key to understanding our own lives.
So we're like mini universes ourselves.
In a way, yes, constantly cycling through these phases, generation and radiation, expansion and contraction.
Okay, our lives are a microcosm of the cosmic dance. And if we understand the principles, we can navigate life better.
We can find greater wisdom and resilience.
It's like those ups and downs we experience. They're not just random. They're part of this larger rhythm.
And by embracing that cyclical nature, we can find meaning.
That makes sense. But how do we translate these big cosmic ideas into our everyday lives?
That's where we need to look deeper into Russell's work.
Deeper into the implications for human consciousness.
Right.
There's definitely more to uncover in the universal one. I'm ready to keep going.
Me too. Let's dive in.
This universal one has really taken us on a journey.
Yeah, from the illusion of dimensions to that cosmic dance of energy.
It's amazing how Russell challenges, like, everything we think we know about reality.
It really is.
And now I think the big question is, what does it all mean for us?
Right. What does this cosmogony mean for our lives, our purpose? What's the takeaway?
Yeah, how do we take these huge cosmic ideas and apply them to our own human experience?
Well, I think Russell does offer some guidance.
Okay.
One thing he really emphasizes is interconnectedness.
Interconnectedness. Yeah.
He doesn't see humanity as separate from this universal mind.
We're all connected.
Yeah, we're expressions of it, and that suggests we can tap into this huge cosmic consciousness
Right.
and maybe even participate in how the universe is created.
So we're not just here, we're actively involved in the process.
That's the idea.
That's huge. It suggests we have so much more agency and potential than we usually think.
Exactly. Russell believed that understanding the universal mind could allow us to shape our own reality.
Shape our own reality.
Yeah, and contribute to the evolution of consciousness itself.
He saw us as co-creators with the universe,
Not just passive observers.
which reminds me of his concept of creative thinking,
Oh yeah, how the universe itself is a product of thought.
constantly changing and transforming.
And Russell suggests that we have that same creative power.
So we're not just reacting to the world.
We can actually participate in its creation.
That's incredibly empowering. But how do we actually do it? How do we tap into that potential?
It's a good question.
It's almost overwhelming, this idea of aligning ourselves with the creative forces of the universe.
Well, Russell emphasizes understanding those opposing forces.
The electric and magnetic, the generative and radiative.
Right, by aligning with that cosmic rhythm, we can tap into a greater creative potential.
So finding the balance, the sweet spot.
Effort and ease, action and receptivity, that back and forth.
It's about harmony in the midst of all the opposites.
You got it. Recognizing the cyclical nature of life, the ebb and flow, and finding our place within it.
That makes so much sense.
When we do that, we open ourselves up to creativity, to inspiration.
It's like when I'm in that flow state, things just click.
Right.
Challenges become opportunities. It's effortless.
You're in sync with something bigger.
Yeah, a source of energy and inspiration. It's familiar, but also mysterious.
That's exactly what Russell's talking about.
It's aligning with the creative principles of the universe,
Letting those forces flow through us.
expressing themselves in new ways.
I love the analogy of a surfer riding a wave.
Oh yeah, they're not fighting the ocean.
They're harmonizing with it, letting its energy carry them.
Maybe that's what being a co-creator is all about.
Finding that balance.
Between our own efforts and the creative forces all around us.
That's beautiful.
And it speaks to this potential for human evolution that Russell talks about.
We can transcend limitation.
Become a force for good in the universe.
It's not just about us as individuals.
It's about our evolution as a species.
Exactly. We have the potential to evolve into something much greater.
It's inspiring, but also kind of daunting.
It is. It's a big idea.
Aligning with the creative forces of the universe, where do we even start?
Russell says awareness is the first step.
Awareness.
Recognizing we're not separate from the cosmos. We're part of it.
Shifting our perspective.
From isolated individuals to interconnected beings,
We're part of something much bigger. A grand cosmic symphony.
each playing our part.
And maybe in remembering that, we unlock a creativity and purpose we never knew we had.
Exactly. That's the potential.
Wow, this deep dive into the universal one has been really something else.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
It's challenged us, expanded our thinking, and given us a glimpse of what's possible.
And the journey doesn't end here.
Right? Russell's work invites us to keep exploring, to keep asking questions.
Keep seeking deeper understanding.
So, to all our listeners out there, keep those ideas alive.
Keep pondering those mysteries.
Embrace your creative potential.
And find your place in the cosmic dance.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep expanding those horizons.